basically when you're drawing, just make something I didn't mention earlier, when you're drawing, make sure you're drawing in this area in here, all right, not out there, because see these little markers here, these are basically your elevation markers, and that's what governs that. So similarly, here's a section, for example, and this is section 1. If I wanted to do another section the other way, it's quite easy. I'll click that, all right, and it gives me a section. Sorry, I do not save for me. And I'll just take a section through that door or something like that. Okay, so now it created another section 2 here, so I can double click there, and here's my section through the house. All right, so I can see that. Again, I can change my view resolution to my detail level here to be fine, and I can see how that's being constructed in there, for example. All right, so it's quite easy, and these are obviously associated with the model, and if you change one, it changes the other, not like AutoCAD again, which is a good way to be. If I go to south elevation, as you saw before, where are we? I think I zoomed out before. You can see that. Now, what I want you to do is go into this elevation or this section, doesn't matter, as long as you got these levels here, and click on that number 4 once, and the 4,000 once, and the 4,000 again, and change that to be 2,700, and press enter. And it should drop your walls down if you had drawn your walls associated to that level before. All right, if not, we can change it to B, but don't worry about it for now. All right, so that's basically the little thing we've been playing around with. These tools, I rather introduce them as we come across them rather than trying to tell you how each one of these things works right now. We've done quite a few as it is today. All you need to know is that how to navigate around this thing here to get to your different views, and also how to change your detail level here, how to change that so it's shaded or not. One thing we haven't done, and I'd like to do to finish off this little project, is this. I want you to go to the sheets and double click on the unnamed one there and bring this up. What I want you to do then is to click on ground floor once and drag it into here, and then just drop it there, and this is what you get. Basically what you get is what you see on the ground floor thing. It's a 1:100. Don't worry about the name being all the way out there. And you can get elevations in and that sort of thing that way. So if I want, I can bring the 3D, for example. I can bring the 3D in. I can go down to here, expand this out, and I can drag the 3D in here and put it there. There it is. And how I see it here is how it will appear. If I change this now, so it's like that, and I go back to my sheet, it should just change around as well. Same with this ground floor plan. If I go to the ground floor plan, the one thing we've played around with is this, the scale. So if I make the scale to be 1:200, it should make the area that it takes up on the sheet a lot less. So now my floor plans become a bit smaller. All right. So whatever you set up on your views here, so that's why I said it's a bit like the AutoCAD viewports and how they're set up. Yeah, that's what that is, sort of thing. So you just drag it on here. You can bring elevations, south elevation. You can just drag it straight on there, and see how it lines it up with something else it finds, for example. So if I go there, I'm lining it perfectly with the floor plan and with that other 3D thing. There's my elevation there. And these little windows around, boundaries around them we can change later on. We'll teach you all that later on. But that's, I just wanted to finish it off for you so you get an idea how the whole process works, where you draw something, change a few things around, drop it on the sheet, and there you have it. All right, so that's how you do that. When you're saving this thing, it's a good practice to go to either click save there or click save here. When it's the first time it will do save as anyway, which is the same as this. If you want to save as, you can do that. Project, not a family, not a template, just a project. It'll come up with this. You can call it and put it wherever you want, but what I want to point out is you can go to the options here. Okay, and instead of having maximum 20 backups, which is a bit too many, I would make it 3. When this Revit file crashes, sometimes well, you just can't do anything about it really. Sometimes it'll crash, you might not be able to open it the next day, but at least you've got 3 other versions previous to the current one that you can go back to. Unlike AutoCAD, you can open up the backups straight away. You don't have to rename them. It just calls them RVT files, which is the extension of Revit. So I'll just change that to only 3 rather, because you can quickly fill up your disk. Those of you who have got a H drive, you've got about half a gigabyte, 500 megabytes of area to use anyway, which is plenty, but just be aware of that. But 3 is plenty, otherwise you end up too many options. So let's go OK, and I'll just call it my first Revit project, okay, something like that, and save that somewhere. So there it is. That's done. And if I save it again, it'll create another version of this and call it 0001, for example. All right. When it does 3, it'll come back and erase the first one, and it'll just keep going like that. All right. So let's leave that there for now.